Alright, I think we are officially live once again. Again, a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're working through things here. Okay. I'm on my other screen, so that's good. The question is, why is my webcam frozen? Yes, yeah, I do not know what the heck is going on here. Bear with me, guys. Okay. I think I got this. Video capture. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you all to who are here right now. Whoa, now I selected the wrong thing. Video capture device. There we go. Yes. Hope everyone had a good day out there. Alright. The stream seems prepared. But if somebody in the chat could tell me if the music is working, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to work on that as well. Got a little Spotify playlist in the background. Of course, free music. Can't be stealing other people's stuff. Things that can be used, for the streams. Learning a lot about this stuff. Thank you again for being here. Gotta get things organized. Greetings from Croatia. I am actually Croatian. That's awesome. Yeah, Croatia just lost the World Cup. That's unfortunate, but don't meet a lot of Croatians, so that's awesome that you're watching the channel. Nice. You guys can hear the music. That's sweet. Alright. Gotta make this chat thing a little smaller. Little thing going on the side here. Okay, so reason I have Super Stonk up right now is just because it's like a common place that people read about GameStop, of course, and now just things going on right now, it's crazy. Like the anti-DRS, more FUD than ever. Oh, mic is kind of echoing. Okay, let me try and fix that. Yes, sir, part Croatian. My grandpa was born there. Ooh. Hopefully that's a little better. I don't have the best mic, but definitely something I'm working on is trying to save up for like equipment, like a nice headset, nice computer, nice setup and everything. Alright, hopefully that's a little better. Also just gonna text this to a couple people. Ryan Sung, yes, I'm doing well. I've been busy, had a lot going on. I went to Arizona, it was amazing, I had a great time. I came back, I got sick, and because I was out, I had a lot of work to catch up on, so last week was just like really hectic. But I feel like caught up now, back from vacation, relaxed, so all is well, can't complain. Just trying to quickly tweet this out here. Thank you. Good to know it's better, thank you. Alright, almost ready here. But really what I'm just going to start off talking about today, because just winging it, talking whatever you guys want to talk about, honestly. But when you just look at the fact that Super Stonk is now being targeted, or like is like reported and whatever, and now there's like all this talk again, oh, do we want to talk to the mainstream media? It's like, no. Like this was already voted on, like I saw a post, like this was already voted on a year ago, and the majority, oh right here it is, ghost him. Excuse me, ghost him, that's what they ultimately said. But it's like, why? Like what I keep asking myself is, If GameStop truly didn't matter, there truly wasn't a massive short interest, why try and take down Superstonk? Why always say, like, forget GameStop? Have Jim Cramer tweeting about it. Why care so much? Why? Why? When have they ever cared about, like, regular individuals? Any, like, financial institution or anything? When you look at 2008 and all the other shitty things that have gone on, look what's happening with FTX right now. Why would they care about GameStop so much? Definitely came back to some crazy times with GME. Yes, that is for sure. It's hard not to even like be on vacation and not like read Superstonk, like with my girlfriend or whatever. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I gotta keep up what's going on." Like Superstonk. Superstonk's always got it. So it truly would be sad if Superstonk was removed. I hate to say it, but like, it could happen. I mean, just look at everything happening in the world. Who's to say Superstonk it won't happen to? Like, I really, really hope not, and I don't want it to happen anyway. Let me be very clear. But it's like, whenever something starts to have power or momentum, like, the move is now just silence them, shut it down. So it's like, to me, if they shut down Superstonk, that would just make things even crazier because it would just show like, okay, why do they care about this subreddit of just individuals who just like one stock? Why? Why delete it for like that? I don't know if it was raging or whatever it is, or it's like negative, like negatively, like, or no, sorry, it's like forcing, like, you have to visit Superstonk and like other subs or something. Like, I don't even know. It's so stupid. It doesn't even make sense to me. The DRS dump was hilarious. Yes, it was. I really do think that was orchestrated. Because when you think about it, it's like when every little thing that's happened with GameStop, like GameStop launches the wallet. That day they put out all kinds of negative sentiment, like Carl Icahn is short. Like the day the iOS wallet, I believe that was the same day. They're like, oh, Carl Icahn is short, which is like, they just threw that story out there, start writing all these stories. So it's like everything's orchestrated and they're clearly watching very closely, or at least that's my viewpoint, that there's so many individuals that just like GameStop, and there's whoever's watching, right? When I say they, that's very general. Somebody with interest, or somebody who knows somebody that has some kind of interest within the failure of GameStop. So when they're watching every single move and having all kinds of reactions and FUD pumped out in ways that have to do with what individuals are talking about in places like Superstonk, how could they not have had a plan for DRS? I feel like it had to have been in the cards. It had to have been something going on, but it's like with DRS, they saw the post. Like, there's always purple circles. Like, maybe there's a little bit less right now, as I'm just like quickly scrolling through, but there's one. There's always purple circles in here. Always purple circles. Individuals are DRSing shares. So I feel like there had to have been a plan to counteract that in some way, and they tried, and ultimately that's why 500,000 shares like increased for the total DRS count. But they probably thought it would be negative based on whatever they did. I've been thinking their last resort to MOAS is just paying us CBDCs. Canada just released their plan with CBDC thoughts. Honestly, maybe, but what I think it is in terms of like why it hasn't happened yet, I think number one, there's greed. Just these people, or these hedge fund managers, large players, large sharks, right, are so used to always being right. And the idea of being wrong, I think that was just crazy. And they think like these retail people, these retail clowns, these individuals are obsessed with this one stupid company, blah, blah, blah. Like that has to be like irking. Like, this is a bad company. Nobody cares about GameStop. Like, I think they're really still stuck on that, number one. And number two, I think they see like the financial macro as a whole, where it's like everything is like bad, like to put it like really blunt and like simply, everything's like negative, and just a lot of people are starting to struggle. And when push comes to shove, I think they're hoping that people just think, you know what, I can't stay in this GameStop bet. It's too risky. I just got to pull my money out. Interest rates are going up. I can't be invested in GameStop. So I think just dragging it out as long as they can, just so that individuals hopefully just get fed up or really need the capital just for like day-to-day living. Like, of course, I hope nobody's ever in that spot, and that's why I always say, like, invest what you can afford to lose, so you never have to worry about that. Because if you're only investing what you can afford to lose, then you don't really have to worry about your day-to-day expenses. And that's why, you want to have an emergency fund and all that kind of stuff. The point being, I think they want to drag it out so people have to sell out of desperation or just needing to like literally live life. or also just people who have waited so long and create the mentality of, oh, I've waited so long for this. It's at $100. I'm just gonna sell. Like I think they're trying to just play all mind games. Like it's all just a bunch of mind games at this point. Am I wrong? I'm not trusting the push to switch from plan to book. Honestly, I don't really know. I'm still kind of reading into this a little bit and thinking about it and pondering it. But I do find it interesting that Ryan Cohen suddenly came out as the book king right around the time this became a discussion. But I also think, is it like a reverse psych op where it's like, I saw a post up here. It's like towards the beginning of my feed here. Where was it? Yeah, like basically about dividing everything. So what if it is just an orchestrated, like, oh, Ryan Cohen's putting up books, let's make this into a book versus plan, and we can come from the angle of like book, but at the same time, it's like maybe Ryan Cohen did mean to indicate to this, so I'm still kind of just like digesting it. But I'm thinking about, like calling ComputerShare and just kind of seeing what they say and get like direct information from them. And if anything, I'll move the shares to book. But it's like, at the end of the day, they are still in DRS. Then I also speculated, like, maybe the DRS count, right? If it wasn't actually, like, shares being yoinked, like, out of DRS, right? Like, they DRS'd a ton, and then they chose to un-DRS them just to create negative sentiment, make it look like people got rid of shares or whatever. Maybe they actually just, like... Oh, I totally lost my train of thought. What the heck was I going to say? Had a really good idea that just literally hit me, but it totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry. If it comes back, I'll bring it up. Agreed, it's their ego. Yes, it's been surreal to find out how dumb smart money actually is through his GME play. It reminds me of the same vibe during big options push. Yeah, there's always seems to be a big push every once in a while, right? With like whether it's options, book versus plan, all this stuff right here, FTX relevance, meta relevance, talking to the media. So it is interesting how that always does seem to be like a common theme. But thank you guys all for being here. Much appreciated. Just checking things on the other side. That said, most of mine are books since they were transfers. Yeah, that's the whole thing for me. Like, most of mine are book anyway. Like, anyways, like I bought some direct on ComputerShare like a long time back when I first got started with it. But then I just started really buying on Fidelity and transferring. Reason being is I want to like secure my price point where I'm getting in. Like, if tomorrow the price goes below 20, I'm definitely gonna add like another 2 shares. Like, I can't afford to add like a ton, but I can't ignore below 20. Like, that's too good of a deal. And I would buy on Fidelity. And then I would just call them up, like, hey, I want a DRS. Like, I saw a post, I wonder if I can find it right now, that it was like, basically like DRSing when you call Fidelity is like feeling like you have the golden ticket, where it's like the Polar Express meme, something like that. I don't know, it was funny. But it's basically, yeah, I love calling them, like, I love the DRS for messaging, but it's time to DRS. One of the biggest value what GameStop and all this saga gave me is the knowledge about the market. Other thing is just bonus. That's straight facts. So I went to school for finance, and I tell people like I work in the financial industry, and like I have a YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, what stocks do you talk about? I'm like, talk about a stock, like one stock. And then I kind of tell people now like I'm more of into like macroeconomics, because I feel like what this whole saga has brought out for me is like, people always said like the stock market's rigged and like messed up things happen and this and that, but I'm like, okay, I see numbers, like that stock market's not rigged, people just, they trade stocks, like people just don't understand it. I discover all this, I read into what Seed & Co is, what Depository Trust Company is, I'm like, oh my goodness, it is rigged! Of course it's rigged! Every share's in the name of Seed & Co! That's so rigged! That's like one power player controlling everything! When I read that, I'm like, this is why Wall Street is a scam. Everything is in the name of Seed & Co. Who allowed this to happen? How did this happen? It's crazy. But then also, like, not to get too tinfoily hat, but, again, just theorizing, take everything with a grain of salt here. But, like, when you see, like, Citadel, right, a massive market maker, looking as a hedge fund, they're a market maker, they're a hedge fund, they're in everything as Citadel Securities, Citadel Advisors, this and that, right? Point is, they're just like FTX, but like for stocks. And Citadel has aggressively shorted GameStop and aggressively shorted other retailers But then they're long on Amazon, so it's like who benefits when they short these smaller, medium-sized companies to oblivion? Amazon, Google, all the big tech names, and it's like big tech has a lot of control. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just beating up the small companies, investing a ton into the very, very large caps, and large caps just making all these crazy moves out here these days, you know? So it's like, not to get too tinfoily hat, but it's like, I feel like this is the behind the scenes of everything, you know? Like, where you just look at some of the things going on in the world, and it's like, how is this happening? And it's like, money buys everything, and people be bugging about money, but the government can literally create unlimited money so they can keep the people bugging. So it's like, it doesn't even matter if you're left or right. It's all about just like keeping the people like going crazy. That's what I kind of realized over time. It's like nobody can actually go to the politicians and be like, hey, can you like do something about these things? Like, can we actually like put some things in place? It's all the left said this, the right is saying that. Like, excuse me, like it's just craziness out there. Do you see the price lift off happening 27 or 30? Honestly, it's so hard to know with the price action these days. Like, I just look at it as a blessing anytime the price is low to just buy more. But I do feel like we're due for a rip soon. Like, anytime it's gone this low, usually there's a rip at some point. So it seems like within the next couple of weeks, maybe there'll be a rip. But of course, I couldn't say for sure. But I do think there is a cycle coming up or some kind of upwards move. Because every once in a while, you look at the historical chart, they have to put out some FUD story, some BS story as to why the stock went straight up and straight down. So we'll see what it is this time or when it is. Offshore banking is popular with Richies for a reason. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Like you are in the greatest movie, which is still happening. That's true. And if I'm somehow in like a movie, like a legit movie that happens about GameStop, not one of those like, it happened already, the January 2021 squeeze, it was crazy, we're making another movie about it. If there's a legit one and I'm actually in it even for a second, that would be like such an honor. Like, I'm just like literally a random dude. Like, I'm just a random individual. But yeah, I should probably like actually show more stuff on the screen. But we'll just go through here. Oh yeah, this guy Kevin O'Leary, man. I used to like Kevin O'Leary. I don't know if I could show this or I'll get in trouble, so I don't want to let it play. But I really used to like Kevin O'Leary, like watching Shark Tank growing up. And now I'm like, bro, how can you defend SPF after that? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, I give a family entrepreneur another chance. But it's like, bro, he scammed everybody, and we all know it. Like, you're like clearly in on something, Mr. O'Leary. Like, come on. When I look back at it, when I look back, it looks like every time the SPY has a massive dip, we get some movement SPY close to topping out. Yeah, honestly, I do look at the market as a whole sometimes, and I try and compare it to GameStop, and there seems to be no correlation, right? Like on the surface. But when you just look at how everything is right now, it's like the market really is like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street. It's Fugazi, it's Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy. Like, it's all like, for show, everyone's like, oh, great news, inflation is only 7.1%. It's like, slow down. Say that again. Inflation is 7.1%. And if you look at what we did, what was it, like the 70s, late 70s, where we had to fight inflation, or 80s, I forgot the exact time frame, apologize for that. But basically, interest rates went almost up to like 8 or 9%. That would be like catastrophic if that happened right now. I don't think people even think about that. So it's like, inflation's still very high, and like, there's still a lot of problems out there that need to be solved. So, we'll see. But thoughts on a potential NFT dividend? I think it's definitely possible. Part of me though does think like if it would have been meant to happen, it would have happened by now. But then also part of me thinks like that promotion they just had, where it's like spend $200 by the end of this weekend, and it'll be like, oh hey, here's an NFT, and now everyone's starting to get them. I saw a bunch of people posting today about it. I wonder if that was a trial run. Like, it would make sense. You need it on a smaller scale. You can't just massively send out an NFT dividend. That's not something like companies are doing every day, you know, like Overstock did a variation of it. GameStop would have to do their own variation of it too. So maybe if there's more like similar promotions that are kind of like, hey, spend this amount, get this NFT for free from GameStop. Maybe it's more of a test, but I think it's definitely still in the cards regardless, by the way. Like, regardless, it's definitely possible. No matter what, it could happen at any time because it would make so much sense. But I wonder if like also there's some reason or something that needs to happen first that it's like, okay, now we have the green light, now this makes sense, now we're gonna execute here. Props is starting to do vids and streams, by the way. Thank you. I'm gonna really try and keep moving forward. Streaming, definitely something different to get used to. But I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm definitely more comfortable today than the other day. The other day I was like, oh, I don't even know what to do. And just got the chat up here. Keep improving the setup. Shout out Morantz again. He shouted me out in his video and he was like, oh, you could just like kind of minimize the screen. I still haven't entirely figured out exactly what he meant by that, to be totally honest. But I'm definitely able to manage it better this time. Like I feel like I had better understanding of OBS, like looking through it. I was actually trying to stream on this Mac over here. It's my brother's old computer. Shout out to him. He's been trying to help me with this stuff. But I could not get that all figured out. Like I'm not familiar with Macs. Like I kind of had it, but I didn't want to like make the stream late, like a gazillion hours. So here I am. Ryan Song, I want one. Why can't they just release it? Because all the work is done. It's JP. It could happen. It definitely could happen. I'm not saying it can't. Marty NWT, yo, what up, man? Thanks for being here. All right, let's go through some more stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. I'm definitely trying to listen to this, Dave Lauer, about the meeting with Gary Gensler. Just hearing what he has to say. I mean, even if Gary Gensler, you know, it's all like he's all talk. Like I don't think he's really doing much, to be quite honest, unfortunately. But I feel like somebody still has to be out there, like trying to do something. You know, somebody that's been at these places that do these things, like all these corrupt things going on behind the scenes. Somebody has to be there to be like, hey, this is what we should do, this is the direction we should move towards. Even if Gary Gensler is going to totally ignore it because he's paid off or whatever, it's like someone has to be like starting the process, right? Like great things take time. So I do appreciate Dave Lauer. Shout out to Morantz, GME Fundamentals King. Yes, Morantz is awesome. Seeing him posting like everything about GameStop, I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. And I was like, seeing like him and Lightning Warrior, I was like, these dudes just seem like regular guys, like just out here talking about GameStop, and like everybody seems to be pretty receptive of them and just, you know, like friendly, like not a straight up like jerk, you know, like most of the internet. Like of course, you know, like I'm always gonna have haters, everybody's gonna have haters out there, but I just saw like so many individuals, like just at how the GameStop community is, or just how many, I use community very lightly. I don't like to say like groups in any way, you know, it's all about individuals making their own investment decisions. But you're obviously here because you like GameStop and I like GameStop, so we just have a common interest. But shout out to Moran, shout out to Lightning, awesome dudes. Also Richard Newton, he's great. I love watching his videos. Like I love his like math teacher like mentality too. He's like, we're gonna run the numbers, and then he goes through the whole thing. It's like literally like I'm back in school. He will use it with Teddy and spinoff. Teddy is the form of carve out to GameStop shareholders tinfoil off. Yeah, honestly, the Teddy thing is interesting because I'm pretty sure I saw that like Teddy whatever LLC is actually registered to be some kind of financial services or something along those lines. So I do think that would make sense for an NFT dividend, right? What if it was an NFT dividend of Teddy in some way, but it's somehow ownership in the company? I don't know. I feel like I trust in Ryan Cohen and everything going on behind the scenes, but it's going to take time for something like crazy like to happen. But also what I just said kind of makes literally no sense. You know, I just said like a this, a that, a this, but there could be a Teddy spinoff. There could be an NFT dividend. Anything can happen. That's kind of the beauty of this whole thing, is like at the end of the day, anything can happen. Does not talk to the media. I love this picture of him. Yeah, oh, I'm really glad this picture is here. One, I love this picture of him just because he's like chilling in nature and he looks like he's just looking at it like, yeah, you know what's up. But look at every other picture of Ryan Cohen. I've been saying this to people and I should say it in more of my videos, and I'll say it right now. This man is wearing a purple tie right here. All of his other pictures online, he never wears a tie. He never wears a tie. I'm pretty sure the tie is for DRS, the purple, the indication. It's a nod to, hey, purple circles. But that's just what I think. Like, I'm going to look him up right now. Look at that beautiful smile. See, look, where do you see a tie in any of these images? I don't see a tie in a single one. This man never wears a tie. He never, ever, ever wears a tie. Why did, in his most recent appearance in a public mainstream article, he chooses to wear a tie that just so happens to be purple? I mean, you can't prove that, of course. You give it that little bit of tinfoil, whatever. Call me tinfoil hat, but I think there's no way he didn't wear that tie on purpose. Like, I think he undoubtedly wore that tie on purpose. Of all, like, the crazy things out there, that's something I truly believe, just because I don't wear a tie. And, like, if I do, it's only because, like, I want to look really sharp, or I want to, like, rock the tie. Like, I like the look of the tie, something like that. So, like, can't prove it, but I don't know. Just based on personal experience and looking at all the pictures of him. And it looks like he's in the jungle. Tarzan of the jungle. He's awesome. Yeah, Tarzan. Would you consider selling if... Whoop, what just happened here? Would you consider selling if Ryan Cohen were to resign from the company? That's a great question, because that would be like a major red flag. But ultimately, like, I think I'd have to see a lot more of what's going on. I feel like there would be reasoning I would be able to find, hopefully, or have faith in myself, or faith that there would be evidence of a reason to not hold the stock if he were to sell. So, like, I just really couldn't imagine him without it. But honestly, I wouldn't just run for the door like Brian Cohen sold. Like, oh, I'm gonna just click sell. I would be like, oh, what is going on? Something ain't right. But for the other side of that, in terms of another Ryan Cohen buy, part of me thinks he's waiting to slam the door on shorts covering, or just put them in an absolute pickle when there's almost no shares left. Because I'm pretty sure he's allowed to buy up to 20 million shares. I don't know if that expires at any point or in any way. But it's like, maybe he's going to come in and just buy up like 7 million shares, just like in one day or something crazy, once he knows they're like absolutely screwed. Because I feel like he kind of knew too, that it's like they're going to continue to be greedy and just keep shorting it. The dumb stormtroopers of the galaxy. Talking about this is kind of making me want to go through Ryan Cohen's tweets. Oh yeah, drop your Twitter handle right now and I'll follow you. I gotta follow more people on Twitter. You know, it's crazy, like, seeing like how many people I've gained following on Twitter. Like, when I started, I just tweet like GameStop this, GameStop that, just like whatever. I didn't even think like that many people were on it. Then I'm like, wow, everybody here's like there's a lot of people for GameStop on Twitter. I didn't even realize. And just seeing rants get kicked off, man, like that is so ridiculous. Like, cancel culture is just messed up, number one. And number two, like, why you get kicked off doesn't even make any sense. Like, he has multiple accounts. There's only one Morantz. I've only seen one Morantz YouTube channel. Like, come on. It's so trash. But drop your Twitter ads. I'll follow you. Midas stock. Let's see what else. Depends on once complete a turnaround years from now or randomly sell now. Yeah, that's also a great point, Eric. That it would depend. Like, is he selling randomly? Is it selling like something major's happened? I want to see fingers in that door. Okay, hold on. I don't know, so it doesn't want to load. What would be a great resource of knowledge for analyzing companies' balance sheets? I mean, for someone who is not in finance or economics. I would say just really taking the time to learn like what each thing on the balance sheet means. So I used to research like other stocks prior to being in GameStop, and also going to school for finance. I learned like what the different terms mean. So I would say, you know, just even like simply looking up like what is long-term debt on the balance sheet, what is selling administrative costs on the balance sheet, what are variable costs versus fixed costs. I wouldn't say I have any like one main source I can think of off the top of my head, but definitely don't pay for anything out there. Just use YouTube, and just how I always learned stocks when I was younger is just looking it up, like, what does this mean? How to read a balance sheet? Like, who I used to watch, like, when he was in his OG days, I thought he was awesome. It was, what's his name? Financial Education, Jeremy. He's a great dude. I think now, you know, I don't know, he's not as good. He I kind of listen to him sometimes just to hear what he has to say. But like his OG videos, he was all about, like saving money, like you shouldn't work harder, or his whole thing was like, you shouldn't be trying to earn more, you should be trying to save more instead of spending so much, and then just start investing. And that really resonated with me. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't make a lot, but also I don't really need to spend. I'm just a kid in high school. So I've been watching him for like a long time, so I only watch him like occasionally now. But honestly, I'll only like watch him here and there. But his OG videos, he has some good stuff if you can find those. Let's see. He said he enjoys building, so he may sell in the future once it's built. Could be, could happen. We'll have to see. But I feel like at that point, things will have gotten chaotic because now the company's free cash flow positive, and for him to be selling, I feel like it would have to be like built. Doesn't GameStop have an investor relations link somewhere? Oh yes, if you meant like about GameStop itself, sorry, Ante, if you meant about GameStop itself, definitely use GameStop's investor relations. I thought you meant in general, just like how to read stuff. Good point, Beats, thank you. NFT Rampage, you think GameStop will become profitable in 2023? So I think yes, but very slightly. Whereas I think Q1 and Q2 will still be negative, and I feel like Q3 of next year is where we'll see it be positive. Because one, hopefully the economy shifting to be a little bit stronger, a little bit better overall outlook. So that'll just be good for the consumer. And two, the company's going to continue to cut costs and just have to do more shifting. I don't think it's an overnight thing. I think there's still more logistics to be figured out over time. So I feel like the first half of 2023 probably won't be profitable. Also, these are the slower quarters for retail in general. So I feel like Q3 would be a great time to see them become profitable because it wouldn't be that massive holiday season. And if they just turn a slight profit in Q3, then have a really strong Q4, just because one, again, the economy coming back, hopefully, and things look good then. And then also the company would be in its holiday season, so people would do a lot of gift giving, and generally Q4 is very strong as it is. So I feel like a really strong Q4 in 2023 and a decently strong Q3 would then make the full year of 2023 profitable. DFV old videos could be of use. That is true too. DFV is the OG. He's the man, the myth, the legend. The fact that he got subpoenaed and Maxine Waters is like, you got to come talk about GameStop here on Capitol Hill. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried. He's wonderful. He got arrested? Oh my gosh. It's a freaking joke. It's craziness. I think they will be profitable. I think so too. But also I'm trying to come at it from the standpoint of like, got to be cautious, or it's like, I'm kind of, I guess, under promising, just like the company, under promising, hoping they over deliver. I think they absolutely could be profitable in Q1 and Q2, but it would take one, just having a good, generally, they'd have to do well and operate well as a business. And two, I just feel like they would have to just really, really cut their costs. Like they really are going to have to narrow down, but the company is echoing like the theme of profitability being a main focus in sight, but also maybe the company sees a recession, for the next couple of years. So like, okay, well, maybe profitability is not tomorrow, but next year it's going to be here. What's your theory on Icon? Great question. So I feel like Carl Icahn probably was short last year. So I feel like he probably sold his position. I don't think he would have wrote it out this entire time, especially considering the cost to borrow staying pretty steady. Why would he want to borrow it and this whole time? Why would he want the shares on loan this whole time? Why would he want to pay the borrow fee shorting it? So I feel like he probably was short. And now maybe Ryan Cohen's saying you should consider a long position. Or maybe he's preparing to build a long position, or Carl Icahn's like, all right, show me profitability, and I'll show you a long position. Maybe it's something like that. I've had really mixed feelings on Icahn, honestly. It's really hard to say, but just knowing how, Ryan Cohen is, the fact that you talk to him is really, really interesting. It tells me there's more to be found out. That's kind of my ultimate take on it. There's more to come. Why should I choose GME over another retailer like BBBY? BBBY looks very undervalued. Well, BBBY, I would personally not invest in. I'm not a fan of it. I just feel like there's a lot less going on there GameStop has the turnaround play. They have a significantly better balance sheet. And overall, there's individuals DRSing. And just the whole take is that so many individuals just continue to buy shares and register them. And they're just withdrawing from the DTC. And that's simply not happening with Bed Bath. And I also don't see the leadership at Bed Bath that I do see at GameStop. But yeah, I really do. What is this? Stay focused. Yeah. Oh, what was that post? I wanted to find it. The $1,000 token. Yes, here it is. So I'm very skeptical of this, to be quite honest. I was kind of glancing through it. But I mean, I'll go through it just because it's one of the individual things, and it is definitely interesting. And that whole Ortex glitch that happened a while back, it just doesn't add up. And I do wonder if that was shares being withdrawn from the DRS, because that whole orchestrated whatever happened, how could the DRS count have only gone up 500,000? It seems like it was probably shares that were then DRS'd and then un-DRS'd. But the question is why, exactly how. But if the shares popped up to be borrowed on Ortex, you would think they suddenly become borrowable once they become outside of DRS, because DRS shares can't be borrowed anyway. So it's like maybe when they were sent back, that's when that huge number popped up. And maybe that has something to do with, one way or another, the GME token. Mic sounds strange now. Let's see. Shit, slightly. Definitely gotta upgrade soon. Alright, yeah, so let's just glance through here. You can read what's on the screen. Undisputed data. The GME token directly connected to a $4.2 billion contract or address. See, like, I don't know, I'm looking through all this and, like, this is just, like, an interesting calculation. You know, like, there's a lot going on here. Like, I honestly cannot break this down. But the interesting part at the end here, which I'll show you, is that basically there's a lot of failed transactions, and this was all going on a while back, right? Like, right before the GME token was created. And here it is, $4.2 billion. So at the time, it was worth $4.2 billion worth of FTT token. And that's like 53% of all the FTT tokens in existence, which is pretty crazy. But see, the FTT token was changing a lot over time. So it could have been collateral in some way. That's kind of what this guy's saying here. But the craziest thing to me is, like, GME token was created, like, literally January 27th, like, literally the day before they took away the buy button. So it's like, I don't know if this is exactly it or this individual's described it exactly right, but there's no denying that, like, the GME token, the timing of it is too perfect. How do they come out with first of all, why do you even need that? Like, why do you need a token of a stock that's already out there? It just doesn't even make any sense. Like, when I first saw that, I'm like, why is this even here? Like, what does this even mean? Like, what's the point of using this? I thought it was just, like, maybe for crypto traders who want access to it, like, on the same platform, like FTX. But clearly, it turned out to be bogus. And it's like, why, number one? And number two, right before you're going to remove the buy button? Like, come on. Like, there's no way. There's no way that happens out of coincidence. Like, with the attempted DRS rug pull and this dip, they are now trying to throw everything they got at us during the holiday season where people were strapped for cash and knocked more out. It's not working. It's a good point. Very well could be happening. Thoughts on MMTLP and the investors being instructed to DRS their spin-off shares? Yeah, so I read about that, but honestly, I don't know too much about it. I'll definitely keep an eye on it because I'm curious how it'll, like, play out. But I feel like it's just another, like, unfortunate dead end, because if you look at what's happened with other companies that have been abusively shorted and have had their shares just eventually, like, people or a few people like, hey, let's just DRS them, let's just register them their name. Every time it's either been some suspicious activity was involved, or they said, well, it was manipulation, you can't do that. So it's like, if too many people do it, like that's the beauty of this whole thing with GameStop, is it's all individuals just choosing, like, I like the company, I'm registering shares in my own name. I don't want them in the name of Seed & Co. So this is so many individuals, they can't just be like, oh, that guy is making them all do it. Ryan Cohen's gonna be like, what do you mean? I literally just own the company. If all people that go after it's him, it's like they can't go after me. I'm just a small guy. I mean, like, knock on wood, like, no financial advice, only providing thoughts and opinions. But my point is, like, it's hard to go after just all gazillion small people when it's just so many individuals liking the same company. I know this isn't an AMC channel, but do you believe Jimmy Squeeze will drag the entire meme basket with it? Morantz thinks AMC will never see 15, but I imagine Jimmy would cause some ripple effect. Okay, so I've definitely had some mixed opinions on this, and there's definitely mixed thoughts on this, and it's a good question. But I don't think AMC... I think Morantz might be right. I don't know if we'll ever go above 15. I don't know exactly, but I do think AMC is absolutely screwed because they're diluting heavily through Ape. Like, Ape was literally created because they couldn't dilute their shares of AMC anymore. It got voted down to issue more shares of AMC. So the management basically used something that was in their, like, company or, like, whatever, like, in some shareholder agreement, or I don't know exactly what it is, but basically something that was established, like, 8 years ago to be like, we're going to do a special dividend and then do that spin-off Ape. And they just diluted the crap out of Ape. Ape is literally below $1. So I feel like because of all the dilution, even if it does have a lot of short interest, it's probably not going to go up that much, because it's like, also, like, I feel like a lot of AMC holders or bots are just, I don't know, I feel like they would sell so much faster. Like, they're just not registering their name, there's just not the same things happening there. But having said that, I feel like the meme basket could move. You could see a day again where, like, all of a sudden, Bed Bath, AMC, BlackBerry are just all up like 50% at the same time as GameStop. But I think part of it would be, too, like, intentional. Like, if they have to keep the stocks in the same basket, right? If everybody's saying, like, oh, just the meme stocks, all the dying retailers, right? Like, everybody's grouping them together. They have to keep that mentality. So, like, to make it appear as visibly that way as possible, the best thing they could probably do for themselves, I would think, if I was in their shoes, like, might as well short those stocks anyway, because we're shorting GameStop so heavily, and these are actually, in some instances, like, struggling companies that we might be able to short for profit anyway. And we might as well, like, when we have to roll our positions, we might as well buy back some of these short positions that we're taking in these other companies, so then we can make it look like they're squeezing too. So maybe it's kind of like all in their play, like they almost intentionally created a meme basket. That's what I kind of think at the end of the day with that. Sometimes it's like, maybe the meme basket was intentional. They meant to start aggressively shorting other stocks, because, like, they were doing this GameStop, got so out of hand, they're like, alright, we need to create this whole, like, meme basket mentality. But at the same time, some of these companies are struggling, some of them are still, like, very, very aggressively shorted, so there's, like, so many other factors. But we'll get back to the chat. Thinking NFT dividend is on the horizon, 2023, 2024. It very well could be. It very well could be. I mean, I don't see why not. If it's possible, it's like that meme. It's impossible. Or what is it? It's like, that's not possible. Why not? I forgot what movie that's from, but it's like, make it possible, or whatever it is. So, like, it could happen. I mean, Overstock did a variation of it, and if you look what happened to their stock, but I'm just going to keep waiting, because at the end of the day, I do like what the company's doing. I know there's more shares out there than exist, or that's what I personally believe, and I see individuals continuing to register shares, and I just look at it as MOAS is truly inevitable, and how it actually looks in terms of MOAS, I don't know. Your definition of MOAS can be different than mine. MOAS to me, it's like when Deep Value said it, it's just up. It just goes up, right? So it's like, how could you really know? But maybe it's a day, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a whole year. I don't know. I personally think it'll be pretty dragged out, because I feel like it's just gone on so long, you can't just unravel all this in a single day. Like, I feel like the MOAS is just the idea of GameStop stock. One, the company is doing well, so they're making profit. And two, just all that short interest then starts to be covered. They listed on an untradeable company by forging the CEO's personal details. Yes, I did read something. I didn't know about that, the CEO's details, but I read that they just basically listed it under like a random ticker. Like, that's crazy though. Like, if that is actually happening, it's pretty crazy. But I don't know. There's been so many like I hold both like type of things, or like so many like another plays. Like, I'm so skeptical of everything, but this MMTLP, or if I exactly the ticker, what was it up here? Yeah, TLP. It is interesting though. It is interesting because it does seem strange. It's like, why would they just list this ticker, and how did that happen? So if that did actually happen, that's crazy. But it's like, did somebody make it seem like that happened? That didn't actually happen? Is there bad actors? I don't know because I haven't looked that deep into it. But I'm just always very skeptical now. That's kind of my point. But it very well could be, because it's like, look what Seed & Co. does. Look what the Depository Trust Company does. They put every share in the name of Seed & Co. for your benefit. So they can do anything. Been bold. Sean, the bus is full. Of us are holding synthetics and you can't sell an AST. We'll find out in a few days. If they can't, they gotta buy it back. Shorting hedge funds. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on it, especially now that you guys are talking about it. I'm definitely curious how it plays out. If you are in the play, I do wish you best of luck. You know, if individuals out there and you want to hold other stocks in GameStop, make other plays. At the end of the day, you are an individual. That's what I really like to preach. Make your own individual personal decisions. It's your money, your choices. GME and costs, the most similar to your charts. I have heard that costs of all of them does seem to correlate the most with GameStop. And I was reading something once that it has something to do with the fact KOSS doesn't have options on it, so it's not as easily manipulated or something along those lines. So I wonder if that has something to do with it, but I'm definitely looking into that too. EMC is done for. There's no way they can avoid bankruptcy. It might run a little bit, but there's a terrible investment overall. No one for sure knows what's happening, but AMC is not a good buy. I do agree. AMC is not a good buy. I personally definitely agree with that. And I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. So yeah, if I ever come out and say, by the way, oh, I'm buying AMC, I hold both, you should know something is seriously wrong. That is not me. Someone's holding a weapon against me. You know what I mean? If I ever come out and say, I like AMC, you should know something is very, very wrong. So, but yeah, like, even if AMC is in the meme basket and does squeeze, then it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'd rather just hold GameStop and watch GameStop squeeze. AMC's returned to pre-split levels. GME costs are elevated from pre-run-up. Sorry, not pre-split, pre-sneeze. It's true. Richard Newton's making an interesting survey about ownership. FINRA concluded to create MMTLP forging signatures. I'll have to look into that. And I'd have to look into Richard Newton's survey. I haven't caught up with his channel in a while. That's like another distracting me up on more GME. You have an echo because your headphone speakers might be too loud. Thank you. You hold both. Never. So wait, you have echo because your headphone speakers... Oh, okay, so I have to do... on my computer, I guess I have to lower the volume. Because I guess it's coming out of, like, probably my headphones. Is that better? Is that what you meant, Marantz? And appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much. You're awesome, man. Everybody check out Marantz. If you aren't subscribed already, I'm sure you are if you're here, but definitely check him out if you haven't. All my gains for buying food and bills, and to buy more GME and DRS book. AMC stole all GME's DD. Any thoughts on DRS shares receiving more perks benefit when the time comes, such as an NFT dividend? I feel like at the end of the day, it probably wouldn't really happen like that. I feel like if there's something shady or something like that, right, like one way or another, that they try to get around something, or like, there's been cases, right? Let me actually try and find this. That basically where Seed & Co. has the ultimate right to the vote at the end of the day. So there was a guy who voted on majority of shares, and he voted like in favor of a merger. It didn't go through, and he's like, I own more than 50%. How is that possible? Basically, Seed & Co. just made the vote for him anyway. Like, they just chose what to vote, which was not what he wanted. So it's like, if they did something like that, then it's like, I feel like maybe it would matter a lot more, like, in terms of voting. But like, I don't think anybody's like getting anything special, honestly. But it would be kind of a cool nod if there was something. I'll figure it out. Yes, I'm getting there. Just mute your PC. Good point. And I think the music's... Oh no, I'm so dumb. Stop, because I'm usually getting started for my daughter's 24th birthday party and listening to a Jamie live stream. I love this. Dude, I love that you're here, man. I appreciate you so much. But yeah, definitely had to stream earlier today. What time is it right now? 7:30. Because I know Lightning streams soon, so I don't want to be like co-inflicting too much. So, and I do have to get some other stuff done tonight, so I won't be here too much longer, but I'll definitely be here for a little while longer. But definitely too, I want to bring on some friends of mine from when I worked at Marshall's and tell some stories about retail and just some other stuff on the stream. So definitely some other stuff coming. Stay tuned. I'm trying to find Seed & Co case. Seed & Co. Let's just see what comes up from this. Let's see. Seed & Co. court case. I definitely need like the name of the case. Just click this random one. Let's see. Yeah, definitely should have probably had a case or two prepared. I guess it's not directly in here. Let's see. As noted, both the prepared brief. Yeah, alright, I'm not gonna be able to just find something off the top of my head here, but basically there's lots of cases where it's like Seed & Co. is the one that's like doing whatever baloney. Like Seed & Co. is everything. Like that's what's so crazy to me, that it's like everything is in the name of Seed & Co. Rance is my boy. He is the homie. There you go. Audio's good now? Awesome. My advice, stream no matter who's streaming. You have everything to offer. By the way, you fixed the echo for a bit and now it's back. Oh, man. I don't know why that keeps happening. I'm still muted here. It's like the angle of this. Does this make any difference? I don't really know. And DRS to broker ratio. So pretty much every share that I have that's not in an IRA, I have a DRS. My only non-DRS shares are my IRA shares. Fix the echo. Yeah, I hope it's back. I mean, I hope the echo's gone now. Let's not worry about it. Keep going. Sounds like a plan, Marantz. Marantz is my #1 hype man. Appreciate you, man. But I wish I could have thought of the one I saw a while back. There's a really good case where it was basically what I was just talking about, where it's like the votes, they didn't even count. It's because they were in the name of Seed & Co. And it's just so bizarre that like it's like, what is Seed & Co? Like when you just look up like who is Seed & Co, let's see what comes up. It's like this shorthand for certificate depositors, a specialist United States financial institution that processes transfers of stock certificates between behalf of depository trust company. So every single company, right, has like a DTC number, like DCC participant name. Oh yes, where is it? Participant list. Okay. Participants. So you have this ginormous list, right, of like all these different companies. And notice how they all have a number right here, right? So pretty much every share is being titled in the name of Seed & Co. has a little brokerage ID, and then it's something along the lines of like, for your benefit. And essentially, it's for your benefit, but you're not the actual owner of the shares. Whereas if your shares are a computer share, it's actually on your name outside of this whole DTC system. How this whole DTC system is that every share is in the name of Seed & Co. And they all have this number. So let's say I want to transfer shares from my Charles Schwab. Let's say I have a regular Charles Schwab brokerage, I have a stock, and then I want to send it over to TD Ameritrade. So how it works is you always initiate with the receiving custodian. So if I'm going to TD Ameritrade, I'm going to want to look up TD Ameritrade transfer paperwork. Should come right up. Perfect. Loading. Okay, so you would fill this out with all your information, what you're transferring over, this and that. And then look what they have here. Where is it? Where is it? Boom. Receiving firm DTC clearing number. It's because they're all in the name of Seed & Co. So they can just move it through the ACAT system. So the ACAT system is run by National Securities Clearing Corporation. And that's NSCC. That's an entity of the DTC. They're managing the ACAT system. And how they're able to do that is because every share is in the name of Seed & Co. in DTC. Look at this number, 0188. Is that going to come up right here? Boom. TD Ameritrade Clearing. Here you have it. Right here. They all have this number. Like the stream, elitist, GME elitist. Question, do you think Teddy... what do you think Teddy is... Question, do you think Teddy is what GME will buy and expand their catalog? I think it could be. It would make sense. I feel like there's probably a deeper play. But why would Ryan Cohen create it outside of GameStop? Why not just have it be created within? Maybe he wanted to be a project of his own. I would say it's definitely in the realm of possibilities. But I feel like maybe there's something more that we're going to see that would kind of like give us more evidence of that, or more so think like, okay, maybe that's not the case. I'm going to put this link on my Discord. 1 sec. We'll get people in here. Appreciate you, man. Oh, wow. That was fast. That was very, very fast. XBit and Primal just pulled up. Thanks for being here. I just like them on my name. Same here, aren't I? But yeah, so Moran slating Rich Noon. You're the go-to content creator for Jimmy, but I sincerely hope you get just as big Tetron. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Step by step, brick by brick. But getting back to this right here, you need oversight if you build from within. That's true. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. So what I was kind of showing here real quick, in terms of the DTC, and how I really got to understand this, to give you guys like a little background. I work actually in transfers. I don't know if I actually ever said this on the channel yet, but I actually work in the transfers department of what's called a non-DTC custodian. Oh, wait. So expanding, moving out without making waves, it's like a sneak attack. That's a very good point, Morant. That very well could happen now that I'm thinking about it, because it's like there's got to be something there with Teddy where it's like just come in and buy it out. That I'm sure he has other people working within Teddy, potentially, or involved in it in some way, that could then, whatever they have to offer, they might not want to necessarily be associated with GameStop. It'd be crazy if somehow, some way, Carl Icahn was mixed into Teddy. That would just be epic. That was just a random thing I came up with. I don't have any evidence of that, but that would be awesome, and that would be very interesting if that was GameStop's sneak attack, as you put it. I think that would be pretty awesome to see. But to quickly get back to what I was going to talk about here with the transfers. So I work for what's called a non-DTC custodian. So we don't have one of these DTC numbers. And like when I follow up for transfers, I'm calling the back office of other custodians, such as like TD Ameritrade sometimes. And I'll have to call the specific part of the back office that's non-ACAT transfers. And because I'm only doing cash transfers or private assets. So my company specifically does private assets. So that's kind of what they're focused on. But basically, I have to be like, hey, it's a non-ACAT transfer. Either they're transferring private equity, which TD Ameritrade doesn't really do. There's some other custodians that do that. So most of the time, when I'm calling a company like TD Ameritrade, I'm calling for non-ACAT. but the client will still fill out a form like this if it's a cash only transfer. And then they'll submit this to us, and then we'll be like, okay, well, we have to send the money to TD Ameritrade. But we process this, but we don't use this DTC clearing number in any way. We're just transferring the cash. So we have to do what's called a non-ACAT transfer. So basically every single custodian that's in the DTC has an ACAT number, and they're all using this ACAT system. And the ACAT system is a really simple way to move securities like that, because they're literally all in the same name. So that's why it's so simple, and that's why DRS, it's like, okay, DTC withdrawal, because ComputerShare doesn't have one of these reference numbers anyway. They're non-ACAT for the transfer. So it'd be a non-ACAT DRS transfer. I'll make a later video later tonight and explain. I'll be watching, Rance. I'll definitely check it out. Hey man, I like watching your videos, and did you hear about this Rule 605 SEC? I might have. I'll look it up in a second. I feel like I've definitely crossed it at least. Pleaser Dallas said they have something to say today. I wonder if they'll speak up at 7:41. That's 4 minutes away. I guess we'll find out. And if that's Eastern time, that is. But that would be pretty cool. Icon, just another future buyer. That's true. If he's short, he's literally just another future buyer at the end of the day. So that's kind of my final take on Icon. I was saying before, like maybe he's going to go long, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? He's just another guy. You know, if he wants to bet against the company I like, so be it. I think that's his loss. But if he wants to buy into the company, okay, I like the stock too. Well, we'll hold. So I think he is just a future buyer if he's short. It's that simple. This CAT system transfers basically all the shares moving under the same roof. DTC. Exactly. Because all the shares are in the name of Seed & Co. And all you have to do is use this number to switch over, because you can see it's on here. If I pull up like Charles Schwab, transfer paperwork. See, how it always works is with transfers, it's always the receiving custodian. DRS is different because you're just sending it out, and that's outside of the DTC. But when you're going within this ACAT system, all within the DTC, it's always the receiving custodian that will initiate the request. So if now I'm moving from TD to Charles Schwab, I would initiate my request with Charles Schwab, and then they're going to send it to TD. And then they're going to work together in the back office to make it happen. And that's kind of what I do for my job day to day, is I make sure cash transfers and private asset transfers go through. So it's like a little bit different than public assets. And it's funny, I got hired out of college. I didn't really know exactly what it was going to be like. But then I was like, wait, we're a non-DTC custodian? This is a place I want to work. I don't want to support the DTC or be a part of it in any way. So I'm happy to be at where I am now. So very thankful for that. But here, let's see if we can find it on here. Let's see, it's usually here. Yep, Schwab clearing number 0164. 0164. Boom, Charles Schwab. They all have it. They all have it. Because they're all within the DTC. It's crazy. All DTC eligible securities must include client name and account number. Delivery to DTC clearing 0164 code 40. Let's look up what that means. DTC code 40. Transfer of customer. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's just coding it as like, okay, the customer is transferring from place to place. But look at all this I just found here. There's coding for everything. Stock loan repay, stock loan reclaim, wrong quantity, wrong security, wrong money. How does that happen? I mean, I guess they have to have all this stuff in here just in case. But now I guess all these little codes right here are when accidents happen. So that's interesting. But again, OCC, another entity of the DTC. Wow, this is crazy. I'm glad I stumbled upon this. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I gotta go back in the chat. There's so many chats. Okay. How tall are you? We have bets going on in Discord. I had said 6'1". We're answering the top questions. Yo, this new number. I don't know. We met afterwards. I'm sizing up these millionaires. Okay, so the truth is, I'm actually like really tall. I'm 6'4", or maybe like 6'4.5". So you're close, Marantz, but I'm over 6 foot, but a little bit taller than that. But I'm built like a toothpick, so trying to work out, and keep like eating. So like, so many people are like, why don't you eat? I'm like, bro, I literally eat. I swear, it's so hard. And like, I'm not complaining. I'm very thankful to have a fast metabolism. But it's just funny. People are always like, oh, you don't eat. I'm like, oh, I eat. I swear. I don't know when we meet after MOS. Yeah, so we will meet up after MOS, friends. We'll meet up one day, man. I'm down. Alright, and something I think slower is better because the prices, everyone on DRS, the price is climbing. Anyways, they process all the papers to sell. Yeah, honestly, the longer it takes, so be it. I just like the stock. I'll continue watching what the company does. Great things take time. Tetron, congrats on the live stream. What is Rule 605? Rule 605. Let's see. Where did I just have that? Oh no, that's that's what I was gonna look up. I completely forgot. Rule 605 SEC. Oh my gosh, chat's moving faster than I can imagine. Music had Final Fantasy vibes, and you're looking yourself in the band. Checking this stream out, come highly recommended. Hey, appreciate you, Chad Clifford. Thank you for being here. No luck, but I have a surprise coming next stream. Looking forward to it. Chad, Tetron is GME 100%. Yes, sir. Watch the first one. Keep it up, Tetron. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here. And yes, Marantz, I'm going to try and come to your stream some more, man. The hard thing is, like, I'm at work, and I just really don't want to be, like, getting caught on my phone and stuff. So, like, apologize I'm not there as much. But, like, in the beginning, I was kind of, like, screwing around a little more, and I got a little bit of a, what they call it, a little pee-pee whack, like, like, you can't be on your phone so much. So I had to be careful with being on during the day. But appreciate you, man, and I'll definitely try and be there on my lunches. I'm always lurking where you can't type working where they move me up to. Yeah, it's a little bit I was just kind of saying, man. Yeah, about, like, I feel like about that, about not being able to type at work. Charity boxing match, Marantz versus Cosmic, all good. Marantz underscore your friend, Croatia Heritage, I'm 6.7. Being Cosmic, I'm 245. Real man, LOL. Cosmic, don't those problems. No excuses, work is overrated. LOL, nah, I'm always around. You're right, Marantz. You are the man. Like, you post so consistently, man. Like, it's crazy, man. You're awesome. Like, no matter what. Remember one day you're like, guys, I'm sick, but I'm here. And I was like, this guy, he's always there. And sometimes, like, I do be watching at night. Like, I mean to comment, but I'm just so tired and doing some nighttime things, and just getting tired. But yeah, no, charity boxing match. Maybe me versus Lightning. No, I'm just kidding. That would be. I think I'd get smoked, but I think Marantz would smoke all of us, honestly. But okay, so Rule SEC 5 requires Finner to make certain order execution information selling the uniform public disclosure of order execution available by all market centers. Huh. Let's see. So it's one of those things that everybody's exempt. That's what I'm kind of seeing here. Frequently asked questions. Topics. Yeah, I really appreciate, like, all of you guys just being here and, like, supporting me and, like, figuring all this out. I promise to get, like, more confident with things and Calm Cool Collective, all that, more of the streams, more organized information, this and that. But I just really appreciate, like, all of you guys being here and just being part of my journey and just building up. Like, again, just a regular guy. I hold GameStop stock. I'm just researching what's going on out there and just talking to you guys about it. Let's see. SEC Rule 605 changes. Here we go. This is what I want to see. 2022 years since Rule 605 was adopted, our equity markets have been transformed by ever-changing technologies and business models, said SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Proposed amendments to how orders are categorized would recognize the reporting of execution quality information for fractional share orders, all orders, and large-size orders. Further, proposal would require that the time of order receipt and time of order execution be measured in increments of a millisecond or finer than that realized spread can be calculated at both 15 seconds and 1 minute. The proposal would also require new statistical measures of execution qualities, such as average effective overquoted spread, a percentage-based metric that represents how much price improvement orders received, and a size improvement benchmark. Finally, the proposal would enhance the accessibility of the required reports by requiring all entities subject to the rule to make a summary report available to the public. It sounds interesting, it sounds promising, but the question is, will it happen? Like, will it be implemented and then it'll be like, oh, well, these guys have an exemption, this or that. Like, the tough part about all this, what I was kind of saying like towards the beginning of the stream, is like, you have guys, Dave Lauer out there, fighting the good fight, pushing for these things, right? But there's just so many, like, obstacles. There's so much, like, corruption just runs so deep. So I just feel like, ultimately, that's why I'm such an advocate for DRS. I just love that what individuals can actively do. The idea of it is just withdraw shares from the DTC, because undeniably there's tons of fraud and shady things going on within the DTC when you look deep into it. I hold both. Listen, bro, don't be afraid to tell Rance. You're an Eagles fan. He can take it. Honest truth, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm having a tough year right now. Usually I'm having a good year, but I live in the New York, New Jersey area, so everyone around here is like Jets and Giants fans. They're all happy, and I'm like, damn, I'm in the doghouse as a Steelers fan right now, and that never happens with Mike Tomlin. So it's like shocking, and like they've lost so many close games. Like, I stream every game. Like, I use like NFL. Okay, if you guys want a random site to stream games, no matter where you are, don't tell them I told you this, but NFLBite.com. There's like all those ads you got to click off, but like because of it, every Sunday, me and my dad and my brother, we can watch the Steelers games for free. It's a little annoying with the ads, but I've been able to watch the games, but it kind of sucks because I watched them struggle this year. It's a little karma. GME and loopring. You know, it almost made me choke when I read I hold both, but GME loopring. I see you, man. I see what you did there. Gotta end each stream with a Marshall story. I like that idea. I think I'll actually have to do that. Keep getting it, bud. Tomlin is overrated. You know, it's funny you say that, Morantz. I feel like he's a pretty valid coach. I mean, undeniably, he's done a lot. But what my dad always says, and I'm like, I don't know. My dad's like, Tomlin's got to go. He's done. Like, his time there is done. He's been there forever. But I'm like, there's only been 3 coaches, like 60 years. He's like, yeah, it's time for the next coach to come in for the next 20 years. So, you're not the only one thinking that out there, Morantz. It's kind of like a... It's like not so common opinion, but like, I definitely see where you're coming from on that with Tomlin being underrated or overrated. But since you said this, I won't end the stream here, but I'll tell you a bonus story for Marshalls. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. So this is a pretty good one. When I started working there, started moving up the ranks, and when I start moving up the ranks, right? It's not that exciting. Like, you have to become a supervisor of like the front end, right? So the supervisor of the front end just basically like customer complains, and they're gonna come over. Like, I'm gonna have to come over and be like, okay, this or that or whatever, or oh yeah, we can take it back. It's fine, no problem. Pretty simple stuff. So there's this lady. I don't even know what she was returning now that I'm thinking about it, but it was like something like very obviously worn, beat up. I don't have any tags. I don't have any receipt. And I'm like, and the cashier was like, we can't take this. She starts like bugging out. So they call me over. I'm like, okay, you know, like I'm supposed to say. I look it up in the system. Like, we can't find it. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll do it for you just this time. I'm like, but I have to give you store credit. She's like, I need cash. I'm like, I cannot give you cash for the shirt you obviously worn or like whatever it is. So I'm like, listen, man, like, I'm going to give you store credit. Like, I started telling her. And then she finally accepts the store credit after so much arguing. Oh, you can't do this. It's not like total, like, BS. I'm like, what do you expect? Like, it's so obviously worn. I mean, it wasn't, like, ripped or anything like that, but it was obvious, you know? So I go to give her store credit, and I'm like, okay, I can give you store credit. She finally accepts that. And then she's like, I want it on the, like, she grabs one of the gift cards you buy, but those have like a URL, like they have, like, the company keeps track of how many of those we sell. So I'm like, I can't put that on this card. Like, it has to be this one. Like, why not? Why can't it be this one? This blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, it has to be. It literally has to be this one. And then she starts like yelling and making a scene. So I'm starting to get really pissed because also, like, I'm still like just out of high school, like freshman in college when this is happening, like beginning days. So I'm starting to get pissed. I'm like, this lady's really pushing my buttons right now. So I'm like, I need a manager. Like, I need a manager come up front. Manager's taking forever to come up. She finally comes up. At this point, like, we're like yelling back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm like, fine, take it. And I literally give her the stupid store credit on the card that you're supposed to buy, not the one I'm supposed to give. And my manager's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, oh, it's too late. She's literally bugging right here. And she throws the store credit at me and says, to hell with your store credit. I was like, after all that and I gave it to you, I swear I was ready to jump over that counter. But it was like some like middle-aged woman, so I'm like, I cannot do this. But I was so mad. Like, they're like, go take a walk, Noah. Go take a walk. But that was crazy. I literally was assaulted, basically, because she threw the freaking thing at me. She, like, you know when you throw a card, you're like, phew. She did that shit to me. It hit me right here. Like, what the heck? Oh, did I just curse? Am I going to get demonetized? I don't know how that works. But can't win without Big Man. That is the unfortunate truth. Everyone is so much more chill in GME community, can actually talk to people. That's so facts. Trey didn't give me the time of day. Trey's a clown, man. He was such a grifter. Like, I used to like, who is this guy? Like, oh, okay, like, he seems kind of cool. You know, he's like this chilled, he's a total grifter. Kenny's a guy. George Pickens is a baller as well. Yeah, I feel like they just need some more time to like develop. Like, I still believe in them, but like, maybe Morantz is right. Maybe my dad's right. You know, Tomlin's time might be done. Maybe they need some fresh coaching in there. I don't know. But I feel like Pickens is going to be amazing. I'm definitely going to try and draft him in fantasy this year. I don't know what to do with my hands. Facts. Why is there echo on your mic? Tree sold out. I don't know if there's an echo on my mic. It's literally, hold on. I don't know. Hopefully that helped a little. All I did was literally like plug it in and out. Let's see. Go back. Trace sold it the same he was in 2020. I'll cut them off, Darth. King of Creation, Exped, you're here too. No, I cuss all day long. Okay, good to know, Rants. I've always tried to like avoid it just in case. Are you doing the stream with the community? It's cool. We're all here, bro. I gotta only have some cool. I gotta give Tomlin more time. This is his first year without Ben, and his head coaching record speaks for itself. That's true too. Like, I'm definitely really mixed on Tomlin because like I see what Morantz and my dad are saying, but I also see what you're saying, Movie where it's like he's legit. He's been there a long time. He really seems to connect with the guys. Like, look at like George Pickens. He was like all mad and upset he wasn't getting the ball, and Tomlin's like, I like that. Like, bring in that fire. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. Where do you think we migrate if Super Stonks shuts down? That's a good question. I feel like there's just so many different things out there. Like, you know, Morantz has got his Discord. I got a YouTube channel. A couple other YouTube channels like Richard Newton and Lightning out there. Some other small communities here and there. I feel like just overall, individuals just like the stock and are paying so close attention to what's going on. Maybe you're not paying attention to me specifically, but there's always someone pointing out information on it out there somewhere, and just individuals, probably like yourself watching this, that are willing to do the due diligence and take the time to find the truth and figure out what's actually going on at the moment in time, even if there isn't that central place of super stock. Like, it would be really crazy unfortunate if it shuts down, but I feel like it's an unfortunate reality. Like, look, Morantz was literally banned from Twitter for like nothing. Like, and it's interesting. Like, that happened like when Super Stonk got like its second strike or whatever. I thought that was like a little weird timing. I don't know. Back into chat. Hello, everyone. Hello, Wendy. Thanks for being here. Pickens went to my high school. Alma mater, great target, anger issues. Oh man, that's crazy though. He went to your school, but that's not good if he has anger issues. Steelers don't like that in their locker room. Is anyone from Marantz's channel here? Definitely. There's definitely people here. I can say that with certainty. George Pickens wasn't #1 player in the country out of high school. Solid dude. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think he's definitely going to be balling out. I really hope so. Stop respecting Tom when he tried to hip check that dude on the sideline return. Oh my god, I remember watching that game with I was like at my uncle's or something. We were all watching, and everyone was like, "You scumbag Steelers! Look at Tomlin out there trying to throw off Jacoby Jones." But he literally actually did throw him off because he was like, I think he would honestly did it by accident. That's obviously a little biased, but I think he was just caught up in the scoreboard. And he's like, "Oh shit, that's me up there. I better move." So Jacoby Jones then had to cut to the inside, so he was tackled at the 10, so it wasn't a run back, but that was funny. That's funny you wrote that up. Pickens doesn't seem like you got anger issues. You should join our Discord if you haven't, just because 400 people counting, or keep it going. Alright, I'm going to join. I'm definitely going to join. I don't have an official like Tetron Discord, I just have like my personal one, but I'll join with my personal one, because why not? Tomlin's smartest fine ever. Yeah, that's facts. Banned on Supersonic, they asked me back. We go to Discord, we broke 30 people. Woo. Let's go. Thank you all for being here. Oh my god, I should ask you guys about my fantasy team actually, but I don't even know my login off the bat. Let's see if I can try and get it. Because I'm in playoffs and I actually have a bye right now, but I had Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp. So like those are my two receivers. So like I'm kind of hurting, but I was the best team in the league. And like, I'm trying to win, so maybe you guys could give me some sleepers or something like that. If I can even figure out my login, I don't even know if I know it off the top of my head. Usually I just check on my phone. Maybe I'm already logged in here. Let's see. Supersonic has been utter trash for you now. Facts. Yeah, honestly, I just sort by the top posts like a night, and I feel like it's a good like central, like, hey, this is going on, that's going on, but I read everything with like the grain of salt, you know, and it really isn't the same, I feel like, as it once began, but I feel like that's kind of unfortunately inevitable. Like anything that grows to become large, it's just hard to maintain. You need more mods, right? And then there's more chances of there being bad actors, right? Like I'm pretty sure there's literally a mod that also like talks about owning like AMC, and it's like, I don't know. My fantasy team is #1. We have a GameStop league. The winner's $100 worth of GME merch. You know, Mario, I actually saw it in the beginning, but like I saw it when it was like too late. Like you guys already had it like filled, and I was like, damn, I really should have been in this. But next year, I would definitely like to join if there's an opportunity. And that's awesome though, how you structured it where it's like GME merch. I'm banned from Stock Twits. Yeah, Stock Twits is funny. It's like just like, oh, this. Oh, wait for it to break this and it's going to explode. I feel like people put their funniest things on there. The times they are changing. That's a fact. The Y Files channel is down and subscribers too. It's happening everywhere. It's crazy, man. The ultimate badge of honor banned on Twitter. Trump, Kanye, and myself. Get at me. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. The cancel culture, man. It's sick. It really is horrible. Like, and it says a lot to me too. Like, when you ban someone and you're scared of hearing what they have to say, it's like, why don't you want people to hear what they have to say? If what they had to say was totally bogus, why do you care so much about banning them? So that's what I've always kind of thought about that. Or it's just crazy. It's like, why do you have to deplatform them and like try so hard? But I think that's funny, Marantz. You get the ultimate badge of honor. It's true. Kanye's a loon. He just says crazy stuff out there these days, that's for sure. But you guys heard of GME Meltdown? Let's see some ultimate debate between both sides. Such thing were possible. Again, I've kind of like passed it, but I've never even like honestly clicked on it because it's just like, why does somebody have so much vested interest in GameStop? It's like I just don't understand. Like, I just feel like it's either one, people are just like angry about nothing, or just two, like they're trying to create like some narrative. So I feel like there wouldn't be much discussion. It'd be more so like just GME meltdown, like finger pointing. I keep clicking the same thing. Damn, as you can tell, I literally never use the computer version. I always use. Doo-doo-doo. Why is literally nothing coming up? Oh, yeah, login. There we go. Let's see if this works. Try one more. I hate passwords. Damn. My password is GameStop. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll just read you guys off my team. Or I could just probably reset my password, but yeah, it's kind of bad. My team only scored 89 points this week. Not good. It's a 10-man league, but I do have that bye, see? So we're chilling. Team Tetron, we're out here. Halfdane is a plant. Have you heard of AMC Meltdown? aka AMC safe spaces. So long. Yeah, AMC is a meltdown in itself. It's just crazy that like Adam Aaron like is a criminal. Like people like the first thing I say to people when I talk to them about like GameStop, if they're curious about hearing about it or whatever in person, is I say the first thing I'm like, what's the first stock you think of besides GameStop when I say GameStop? Every single time without fail, they say AMC. The forced association, like it's just so forced because they want a crap company to be associated with a company that actually has potential because they're shorted. Honestly, it seems as simple as that it's like you have to associate a garbage company with it and promote it as the same thing just to all the public. So when the average person thinks of GameStop, they think of AMC. They might look at AMC's balance sheet and they're like, what are these people talking about? And it's like, no, it's not these people. It's bots and people who like GameStop. And, some AMCs, but not for me. AMC Safe Spaces was fun. Those were so cringy I couldn't listen. They're the best thing ever if you want to listen to nonsense. Yeah, no, I felt popping in to like some of the streams and just people just bugging. Like it's funny too that like I think someone said in the chat here before that it's literally like anything that's talked about for AMC is basically something that's came out of GME like one way or another. So it's like they just recreated it in some way. Like Ape was their version of the stock dividend, but it really was just dilution, like wrapped up in a gift box by Adam Aaron. If you see Ryan Cohen in person, what would be the first thing you asked him? Man, that's a hard question. I feel like I would just be like, how did you come about this? Why did you go about, like, what was your calling to this? Like, more, like, why, how did this all begin? But, like, if I had, like, 200 seconds, if I had, like, 2 seconds, I would be like, I wouldn't say when Mo asked, I would just be like, you're awesome, I love you, or something like that. It would depend, like, if it's an elevator, I'd just be like, wow, I'm just so inspired by what you're doing, Ryan. Like, you just tell me, like, what made you want to go about doing these kind of things? Like, what made you want to go about, like, buying into GameStop? Something like that would probably be my first question. Bro, you're seeing all my trigger words. AMC 500K, AMC DRS. Yeah, I remember that when they would say, like, oh, hashtag AMC 500K. But, easy question, Ryan, have you seen my videos? That's good. Yeah, that would be a good question. Because I feel like he definitely has to know, like, there's people out there who absolutely love the company. And I feel like he very well could have seen you, Marantz. He very well could have been like, this Marantz guy, he's covering the company very well. He sees what's going on here. Nobody could actually bring a legitimate debate on this face videos. The argument was mostly all emotion. Marantz actually does research on GME, speaks data. Don't see that with AMC. That's facts. That's straight facts right there. Yeah, Marantz, you and Lightning, I had seen you guys both saying, like, AMC's garbage in the very beginning, and I was like, why do they think that? And I started, like, looking at Trey and, like, how you guys talked, like, just from the whole thing began, and I'm just like, wait a minute, AMC is literal trash. I would ask Ryan Cohen what kind of shampoo he uses to get his hair looking so good. He's a sharp-looking guy. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Look at this absolute stud. I love this picture. This is my favorite picture of all the Ryan Cohen pictures. He's just like, yeah, I'm out here playing chess, life-size chess in the cornfields. Like, I don't know. I just think this picture is great. Is Ryan Cohen on the Discord? Maybe he's a lurker. Maybe it's a fake name. Tetron, do you know who Data Zero is? I don't think so. What you sipping on? Just water. Just water. But maybe in a future stream, I'll have to have a couple bevs, you know, have a couple beers, maybe a couple whiskeys. Be a good vibe. Maybe I'll like stream a game or something. Be like, oh, every time like I lose or something, I got to take another drink or something like that. Right? It's just the best AMC YouTuber. It's true. 12-year-old Tullamore Dew. Scotch and grape juice. I'm not too big on scotch, but I like whiskey and bourbon. Those are kind of my go-tos. Yo, what's up, Horseman? Thanks for being here. If you guys want to drop your Twitter I'll definitely follow you after the stream. If I don't follow you already. But oh yeah, I was gonna bring my fantasy team. That's what I was gonna do. So I need your help. Like, I mean, like, there's not even that much like I can do, but losing Cup and Debo is crucial. Like, pretty much the question now is, in terms of receiver or like my flex, it either has to be Brian Robinson Jr. for the Commanders, but he's questionable right now, or McKinnon. I was just able to pick him up, Jerick McKinnon in Kansas City. One of them two has to be my flex because I'm gonna have to swap out Debo. And now my receivers are Garrett Wilson and Amari Cooper, and even Amari Cooper's questionable, so definitely dealing with injuries. Short HYMC was it Moas within its own. Maker's Mark 46. I've had Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is pretty good, man. I like that stuff. I drink it with my cousin. Fit, looks glass, name checks out, Khalid does have zero data. You guys are calling me favorite call. Wild Turkey, you're echoing again. Whatever you did, you just triggered it. I must be like hitting the cord or something. Thank you for telling me. Hold on, I'm gonna unplug it. Alright, hopefully this is back. Let's see, I'll mute for 1 second. Okay. Chilling like a villain. Here we are. But yeah, so I don't know what if you guys think in terms of flex, if I should go with. Well, the thing is, even if I put Brian Robinson in there, my running backs right now are Singletary and Saquon Barkley. So it's like Singletary is not that much of a lock. So I don't know, kind of in a tough spot. Also have Vaughn Jefferson, but the Rams literally don't have anybody that could throw them the ball. Like, he had 2 completions and a touchdown. Awesome. Thank you, man, for letting me know that. Appreciate you, Hirata. I take the Robinson over the wide receiver. McKinnon and a great cream last week. Mahomes may target him more. Plus, Chiefs are facing the Texans. Worst team in the league. Very good point, Movier, but I should have mentioned, I actually have a bye this week. So it's not exactly about this week. It's more so like preparing for next week. But I feel like, yeah, I probably should put in McKinnon and Robinson because it's like Singletary like just doesn't get the ball that much, but the Bills' offense is just so good. So that's what I was kind of thinking. But like Robinson is really starting to get the workload over there for Washington. The only thing is he's dealing with a quad injury, so he's a limited participant. But the nice thing is, like, I can kind of see how this week goes, so that's good at least to kind of get an idea of how I'm going to move forward. But we'll see. All right, gonna get some dinner. Keep rocking, Tetron. Thank you, Darth. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a good night. Give me a Coke rampage. The jinx. Yeah, I think one of these days too, I'll have to like stream a game or something, or just play around on something. But definitely crazy, the stuff going on out there. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, and I don't know if you guys would want this, but I have Tetron NFT in here. I mean, it's just literally my logo, and I was just kind of doing it to test. And also, I have an NFT of my fish. I'm gonna open my wallet in a minute. So, if you guys want any of those for literally no reason for free, then you could drop your wallet address. Feel free. Um, One quick thing too, since I'm pulling this up here, version 0.9.9. They won't quite get to 1.0.0 yet. So I do wonder, is something massive or something big going to happen when it gets to be version 1.0.0? That's kind of something that's been on my mind. So I guess we'll have to see. Here we are out here. Got some Loopring Ethereum. I got it staked through loopring.io. Got my wrapped Ethereum staked on loopring.io. NFTs. There we are. Oh, I don't even know where I got this one from. Mayo Conqueror. GME Pirate Astronaut hoping through computer string after abusing a jar of mayo with his mighty pen. Mad funny. It's awesome some of the stuff people make out there. I would love to learn how to be able to make stuff like this. This would be so fucking cool. Like, I wouldn't sell it. I would just like send it to you guys for fun. Like, I don't have to be an NFT like creator. And this song is so catchy. By Real DMT and Whoosh, like it's so catchy. I don't know if you guys would hear
the GME community. It's been a long battle. Fudge shills.
I'll try and pause this. Let's see. Full PPR, and it better be clean. Doesn't sound that bad, bro. Sounds like he's from the future. Your thoughts about Loopring Token? Yes. Now this song is so catchy. Like if I muted it, I would hear it, but I don't even think it's playing. Oh yeah, duh, because I closed the wallet. Anyways, but what's your thoughts on the Loopring Token? Loopring Token, I think it absolutely has potential, just because the underlying network with it, and I feel like anything that has utility actually has value in the long term. But to put in perspective, like what I have in Loopring compared to GameStop is like so minuscule that like it could go to zero. I could care less. I mean, like, obviously I don't want Loopring's network to fall apart. That wouldn't be good for GameStop wallet. My point is like, they could dilute the crap out of Loopring Token in some way, and like I could live on, like it wouldn't kill me. But I feel like it's worth holding a little bit, and you could stake it or a little bit of interest. So there's that. I like the one jerk plays when someone joins the channel. Then not a cold one. I don't know what it's called. Honestly, I'm not sure. Yeah, so let's go through some of these for fun. Oh yeah, I forgot I could literally, I haven't used the wallet in a minute. How do you expand this again? There we go. Oh. No, that's not what I meant to do. I thought it would be like right here. I haven't used the wallet in literally so long, I forgot how to expand it into a new tab. I feel like a clown. Oh, duh. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's so nice in the large format. I love that they added that. This is an awesome one. By Mr. Furno. Shout out to you, Mr. Furno. I like this a lot. The +1 DRS, +1 DRS. Yeah, this is when it loads. This is my fish. If it wants to load. Maybe it's bugging. But Richard Newton makes some pretty awesome art here. I love these. These remind me of like this one reminds me of the Death Star. Yeah, I don't know, this isn't loading, but this is my fish that's probably unfortunately about to pass away because he's swimming like all wacky. And usually they do that when they're going to pass. We got Morants right here. Got a bunch of Morants. You know, like part of what's so powerful about what's happening as I'm kind of going through just like NFTs here is that these are all NFTs just made by individuals like you and I. So the part of what makes GameStop so powerful and so just dominant in everything they're doing, or like I believe them to be dominant in everything they're doing, is that they have so many loyal people behind the brand. People just love and adore the brand of GameStop. I know I've definitely become like that over time. I definitely wasn't always like, oh yeah, I'll just go to GameStop first. But now I'm like, okay, well, before I buy that, does GameStop have it? Or even like my mom or brother will be like, oh, I need this or that. I'm like, you should be buying that from GameStop, you know? Like, GameStop's the way to go. You're probably going to get a better price. So like I always just think like shop GameStop first. And people are like, "Oh, NFTs are dead, this and that." But like number one, I think it's really all about the utility, and GameStop's getting involved in Web3 games and the utility NFTs that have to do with Web3 games. And that's like one thing in itself. But look at all this. This is all created by individuals, right? So what makes something work is that people actually use it. People are using the wallet. People are utilizing NFTs, right? So it just is like proof of concept, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And then now you have games with utility and NFTs with utility underlying. And I think there'll be more NFTs over time. Like I think NFTs, the term, is just so widely misunderstood. Like an NFT is just a digital asset in my eyes, but to the average person, it's just a digital picture of a monkey, right? Like it's just a bored ape. That's what everybody thinks of when they think of NFT. Whereas it's really so much more. It's really about the utility. Yes, there's some art involved in it. That's one aspect of it. But it's really about the utility. Like I could see NFTs picking up again and becoming a mainstream thing with some form of utility becoming more common, or just utility in general. But then they call them like utility tokens, or like, I don't know, like utility tokens, digital assets. I don't know. There's just a common phrase. Instead of NFTs, it would be called like just maybe another acronym or just another term, right? Like people get so caught up in the name or the phrase NFT. People are like, bored ape, monkeys, ah. It's like, no. There's so much more going on here with this thing. Let's see. Got the chat asking you all a question in 7 minutes. Curious anyone? I love Curious NFTs. Wendy, shaking hand. Me too, man. Vibes. But yeah, it's just crazy out there. Everything going on too. Sometimes I have to just like turn everything off too, you know, because it's just like there's too much. There's too much noise. There's too much just craziness going on out there. Absolute craziness. And it's like so many people now are just sleepwalking through life. Just like, yeah, you know, it's just how the world is. I'm like, but like, you don't see how crazy that is? Like, or how bizarre that is? Like, that's not, doesn't like ring a bell, or like, you're not going to wake up from this? Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, digital assets. Digital assets, man. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Like, I say GameStop's getting into digital assets. Like, when I tell if I tell the average person like GameStop's an NFTs, they're like, now they're in NFTs, it already passed. What do you mean? I'm like, you don't understand. It's about the games, and evidently individuals are still making artwork even though it's dead right now. Like, so that's kind of the cool part about individuals that just like all like GameStop. In the meantime, it's like, all right, we're gonna make some artwork. We're going to send out different things, right? Like if I had a contact list of of people with the NFT addresses, right, or wallet addresses, I could just send out information about stuff I'm doing, personal research I put together. I could literally send anything to people in the form of an NFT. That's kind of the cool part about it to me, is that pretty much anything can kind of be turned into a digital asset or have some connectivity to it, like one way or another. It's just all this perception of like, this term NFTs, ooh, scary monkeys, like ooh, people who buy digital garbage. Like it's just people widely misunderstand it. Like it's really as simple as that. Because also like what you saw in GameStop's like earnings report recently is that it's not like GameStop's holding like Ethereum and like they're buying random NFTs themselves. They're not exposed to the volatility of like Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies because they don't actually hold the coins themselves. They're just facilitating everything through the NFT marketplace, through having the NFT wallet or just wallet in general to be easily accessible to individuals, and the individuals are actually owning everything that's within these wallets, or like everything that's in the wallet itself is owned by you. GameStop could go out of business, right? Which I don't think will ever happen. But somehow, some way, GameStop goes out of business. Guess what? You have your 16 seed phrase, right? Or 16 phrases. You have your password. You can go access your layer 2 wallet anywhere, anyhow. It's truly yours. And that's the beauty of it. People say, oh, well, GameStop's exposed to the volatility of the crypto industry. But they're not. They're really not. That's just simply not true. That's why I think they highlighted in the most recent 10Q where it's like, we're not going to risk shareholder capital on holding like crypto assets themselves. When does the game release? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have to play some Web3 games. That would be kind of a good move. And definitely, if you guys want to play, I mean, I'm down to play with you guys. Like, we'll hop in like a Discord and whatever. Should be like a good vibe. So I'll definitely have to organize that in some way. I feel like I really, for my own personal life and for my YouTube channel and just for the sake of everything, I have to get so much. I just have to get better organized, right? Like, I don't have to have like maybe like a strict schedule, but like I do want a streaming schedule to an extent, so you guys know when I'm going to be here and you can be here as often as you can, because I appreciate you all. But my point is, I need like all in all some kind of organization. Like I'm very like just put it together, make it work. Like as long as it happens, as long as things happen, I'm like all about execution in a way. But at the same time, you gotta have organization, you gotta have planning. It used to be on every report card I used to get. I remember at high school. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. But I never had to worry about that because high school, like, honestly, like, school's, like, pretty finessable in my eyes. Like, it's like, high school is, like, as long as I do something, right? If I show some effort, like, nowadays I realize, I'm like, teachers are not going to fail me in any way. Like, I just have to show them I'm kind of trying, But, yeah, college out there is crazy, too. Like, just getting out of college recently, like, it's so bizarre. It's so like just traditional finance, how it's taught too. It's so like cut and dry, and it's like I don't know. It's just so not even like well taught. Like I feel like I was talking about before. I used to watch like Financial Education in his OG days. Like I thought he was awesome at that time. Like in his like first beginning videos, how to do this, how to read a balance sheet, how to understand that, how to understand this with stocks, how to save money, just overall everything, right? Like he was so good at that stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I'm learning more from this dude than I actually am in these like college classes. And I was watching him even in high school, so I'm thinking like I knew some of this basic stuff before I even got here, and like nobody's even like understanding it. Like I don't think I'm describing this that great, but like pretty much what I'm trying to say is like the school systems are so fraud from kindergarten all the way through college. It's all crazy. And like I actually didn't even want to go to college for a while, where college, like I tried to fight my parents and be like, I don't need to do this, but ultimately like I didn't have a plan, so how could I just not go to college without a plan, you know what I mean? And I knew I liked stocks and finance and numbers and just all that kinds of stuff, right? And I played the cryptocurrency run up in 2018, and I was playing it on the way up. People were like, this is crazy, it's gonna crash. I'm like, this is gonna keep running. There's so much like social sentiment behind it. That was like my whole like thesis on it, that more and more people keep looking this thing up, so it's probably gonna keep going up. And I was able to ride like, for example, like I had a great trade, like literally one of the best trades of my life on Litecoin. I bought 2 Litecoins for like $100 a piece or something like that. I don't even remember exactly, but 2 Litecoins for that, and then it priced literally the next day, like went up 50%. I was like, oh my god, I might as well just sell. But Coinbase like locked my purchase for like 7 days. Like you can't sell. By the seventh day, the tokens were worth like over $300. Like, because it was when Litecoin absolutely like hit its peak, and I was like, "This is crazy!" I literally just like tripled my money. And as a high school kid, turning $200 into $600, I was like, "Yo, we're gonna talk to your brother this weekend. He's gonna get us like a fat case of beer, yo. It's on me." Like, I was so hyped from that. It was crazy, and I was like, "This crypto stuff is just nuts." But guys, GME, iOS, Apple Wallet. Yes, sir. If you don't have the Apple Wallet, the Apple version, or I can't talk, the iOS wallet, download it. Definitely download it. It's pretty awesome to have on your phone. And when you want to show people or just give them your wallet address or whatever, boom, it's right there. Exactly. Some way to play music and Candy Crush NFTs on the iPhone. That would be pretty cool. Financial education, the TTCF guy. Yeah, so he hasn't had the best call outs as of late. You know, like I said, I follow him like a little bit. I'm more so just curious when he talks about like what's going on in the macro of things. I've always kind of liked what he hear what he has to say in terms of that. But in terms of his stock picks, like I'm not really looking at those because, like you just said, the TTCF guy, and I think he's definitely fallen off. But if you look at like his OG videos when he first started, he was like just a simple guy, you know, like when kind of like any YouTuber that gets like ginormous like that, it's like hard to stay true to your values, you know. And he started doing like he was promoting FTX, I'm sure, like all the other ones. So it's like I don't know. I did definitely. I don't want to say. I guess I did lose a little respect for him. You know, it's just kind of sad because it's like I remember watching him in high school, being like, "This guy's awesome." You know, he worked at a gas station, and now he's making YouTube videos and investing in stocks. You know, so it's kind of sad to see him now like struggling a little bit. So I do wish him all the best. You know, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he has any bad intentions, but I think he's definitely focused on a lot of clicks and stuff. So it is what it is. But yeah, crazy. Wow, I cannot believe 110 minutes. That's literally almost 2 hours. Damn, it is 8:30. That is crazy. That's actually crazy. Thank you all so much for being here. But I think I am gonna wrap it up soon because I'm getting pretty hungry. But I'll try and think of another. Let me think of another good Marshall story to wrap it up. It's hard to think of them on the spot. Like if I had a coworker on, it'd be great stories because it's like once you start talking to somebody you used to work with, you're like, oh yeah, that time. Oh, okay. I have a good one. We call this one Spygate. I hope I can have my coworker Steve on to talk about this one. He tells this great. But basically, Marshalls, I don't know anybody that's worked in retail, and especially retail management. It's a lot of like cutthroat. Like someone's always coming for you. Someone's always got something to say about you, right? Like there's always something going on. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, for the end. So there's always something going on. Someone's always got something to say. So I was the shoe department manager, and hold on, pull up the chat in case you guys got anything to add on to the story or any questions about it. But or just curious what you guys think about it. But maybe I was like paranoid, right? But I was hearing like in management meetings like, oh, we have to keep an eye on that person, and they would say things like, go in that room, go in the office when he or she is in there, and pretend to grab something, but like listen to what they're saying or see if they're actually working. So I knew funky stuff like that went on, and I was like starting to think, I'm like, is this going on with me? Because I really started to hate my job, right? Like managing Marshalls was like brutal, and it's just like it's like retail management, it's tough. Like you need to be very mentally tough. Like it really beat me down. It really taught me a lot about life. But basically what I'm getting at with too much background here, what happens is I think of being spied on, right? Because I'm like the shoe department manager thinks I'm being spied on. So I'm like, we started calling it like, you know, there was Deflategate around that time about like the NFL thing. So we called it Spygate. And I started thinking, I'm like, I think they're spying on us to see what we're doing, because I was a shoe department manager and we had a little like shoe office, right? Or like a little shoe room. We had to like put the sensors on the shoes and then put the shoes on the sales floor, like all make them look nice, this and that. So you know, like it's like Marshalls, like how you see it. Like just put it out, it sells, condense it down, add more stuff out there. So I was like, this is Spygate. They're spying on us. And then I was like arguing with someone about something, because it was always like Noah, why are the shoes not out? Noah, what's going on with the shoes? Noah, how come the shoe department is behind? Give me all this garbage, and I just had enough one day, and I'm like, and then this other he's a cool guy. He was like trying to move up. He wound up actually after I left taking my position, so I was fine with that. I didn't really care because I wanted to leave. But he was also trying to become a manager. They didn't know if he was going to be a manager in another store, so I wasn't like against him or anything. But I knew he would be the guy they would have to spy on me if they were spying on me. So he came into the shoe room, looked like pretended to look at or like just looked at something and like just walked right out. And I'm like, did you guys see that? I'm like, did you see that? They're spying. There's no reason he came in here. He undoubtedly came to just look at what we were doing. And they're like, yo, just chill. Like, it's all right. And I was like, no, I've had enough of this. Because then I saw him like at the front talking to like the operations manager, which was like second in command to the store. And they were like looking by the shoe department, but the door was open. Like, so it's like the shoe department's here, the front end is like here, and then the door is like here to like the side here where we have all the other shoes. So they're like looking in, and I look out and I see them looking over, and they quickly look away. And I'm like, that's it. I'm saying something. So it was the most savage thing I think I did in my whole life. I walked right up to them, and I was like, do you have something you need to tell me about the shoe department? Like, it's just such a dickhead thing to do. I was like, do you have something to share? It seems like you might have something to say. And they were both just like, because I don't talk like that at all or say anything like that ever. They were like just dumbstruck. They were like, everything's fine. What do you mean? And like they were just so shook to the point I'm like, you didn't deny, like, I don't know, I think you didn't deny her in a way. Like, I'm pretty sure ultimately I figured out that they were kind of spying on us. Like, maybe not in that moment. And, like, the way I blew it up and just, like, went right up to them like that caused lots of problems. But that was, like, the beginning and the end for me anyway, so I didn't really care. But that was Spygate, where we thought, like, they were literally spying on us. And ultimately, like, they were, because they were like, oh, see what's going on in shoes? Why isn't the shoe department caught up? Why aren't all the shoes out? So basically, that was Spygate. We had Spygate going on because there's all kinds of crazy things that happen behind the scenes in retail. Like, if you've ever worked retail, I can tell you on the management side, there's all kinds of craziness and like mind games going on behind the scenes. Like, not mind games, but like, we have to treat this person like extra nice or they're going to call out. We're going to have to deal with that. It's going to be a headache, so we better be extra nice to this person to make sure they don't call out. Just stuff like that. But that was Spygate, and that was when I had enough. I was like, because it was just funny too. Like the employees I had in shoes, they're both like, "No, no, like it's not worth it, bro. Don't say anything. It's okay." And I was like, "We have had enough of this." They're like, "We." I'm like, "I've had enough." But yeah, that was Spygate. I don't know. I guess that wasn't that exciting of a story. But if I had my coworker Steve here to tell it, this guy's a great storyteller. He also had like he was trying to move up also to like similar position to the other guy that came to quote unquote spy on us. So he kind of understood the same kind of thing. So I feel like he would tell the story really good. But I think that's it for tonight, guys. I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I really appreciate you all for being here. Kind of went on some different tangents, but yeah, just fun talking to you guys and just reading and hearing about what's going on. You know, I'm gonna keep making the videos, keep doing the streams. But thank you all. Appreciate you for being here. Have a good night.